Well, hey. It's Sunday and I'm to Nap and
I am Dr. Michael Gross. Thank you for joining us, everyone. I'm so glad you could join us. Thank you.
we are thrilled pieces to be here on our Sunday. And as you know, we've changed our time to 7 and we hope that's working for you. And if it's not, please leave something in the comments below because whenever it works for you, we can always move things around a little bit. We have a little flexibility. However, we do have it as a recording, so you can always watch it later, which is really, really fun. And on that note, this is actually our part 4 of a series that we'll address in a minute. But I wanted to just share something. Can I share what happened this
Go
last
ahead,
week?
please do.
Okay. This last week, I have to share this exciting news because I am still so incredibly blown away. I had surgery a week ago, and a week ago, actually last Friday. And day 4 of my recovery, I was out shooting pictures as if nothing had happened except maybe a little ache and pain. And I want to let everybody here know that Michael is a healer. He is a lot of things. We talk about that in the intro that I'll give you later. But I am thrilled to pieces to be here and feeling amazing. The way that everything went together, I am blown away that you, my friend, have such an incredible ability. I'm sorry, I'm staring at him. To do such an incredible healing, because I won't go into detail, but I just wanted to let you know that if anything is troubling you, heart, soul, and even your physical body, Michael can help us. Michael truly did. So on that note, I'm going to go ahead and let you all know that Michael is the author of the Spiritual Primer, best doggone book I've read.
And thank you for your kind words. Thank you. And I'm sitting next to the author of Healing the Holes in Your Soul, To Nap. It's a great, wonderful book. It's phenomenal. It's really good. It's very inspiring. It's very motivating and will change your life. Even if you've never been abused, you get a complete understanding of life and how to survive. And it's really a book about survival, not only about abuse, but surviving in your own life, to re-empowering you, to learn about self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem. A must read.
Thank you. This is a must read too, because if it wasn't for this book and this wonderful man over here, which I admire even more than possible, words can't describe how he's changed my life. There are no words to describe exactly what he's helped me with. And because it began with this book and this man, that book showed up as well. So on that note, we're going to put our books down.
Alrighty.
And I, like I said, I am blown away. I mean, I'm literally blown away. I've been out there chasing eagles out there in Seebeck, just like a lot of the other photographers. So, on that note, thank you, Michael.
Welcome.
And what we're going to do is I'm going to introduce you properly. Properly. I was going to say formally. I'm still a little bit giddy with all the stuff that's been going on. And, this is an incredible man, okay? Truly an incredible man. And this is the only scripted piece that we use. And I want to make sure he gets the acknowledgement for everything he's achieved, okay? Dr. Michael Gross is an author, professional keynote speaker, transformational coach, and an entrepreneur. Was that, weren't we going to add something? Excuse me. Weren't we going to add something? Multidimensional healer?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm going to add that in here. It's not in my notes, but he's a multidimensional healer. And I am proof positive that what he does for us works. I don't know how, and it doesn't matter.
Thank you.
What matters is I'm here smiling, smelling like a rose and dancing. And, it's like hard to tell that a week ago I was lying there under a surgeon's hand, So here we go. Back to Michael Gross. Dr. Michael Gross, for more than 3 decades, has been on a spiritual path as an intuitive, a healer, a spiritual coach, and a teacher. Through the guidance of spirit, Michael has assisted others in their personal quest for self-empowerment, helping them to create the lives that they have long sought and to bring forth their own intuitive abilities. Michael currently teaches classes in Reiki, spirituality, self-empowerment, and other modalities. In concert with God, the true source, he has also achieved great success and miraculous healings. He remains humble, knowing the work that he does all comes from God, the true source. Michael lives in Lakewood, Washington, and has recently launched his nonprofit, and I would love you to take a couple minutes to share it.
Thank you.
You bet.
The International Institute of Self-Empowerment. And it's because of this beautiful lady that I began to understand the needs of abused women, children, and men. So Spirit came to me and said to start a nonprofit. And I never asked what for or why or then, because I know it will always unfold. And if I use my ego on it, I may not get the right answer. And in the process of forming it, I had the honor of working with TU and realized abused women, children, and men, and how important it is. Therefore, now it's all legal. It's a 501c3, so to speak. We're open for donations. And not only that, but in the next 10 days, 2 weeks, we will have our website up and you'll understand more about what we're all about. But it's all about self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem. And it's helping abused women and children, which is a huge, huge factor. And I've learned so much from this woman. And she truly is a survivor, and I'm honored to work with her. So in that vein, I decided to ask her if she would honor me and become director of working with abused women, children, and men, and she agreed. And we're now formulating a whole type of program to assist abused women and children, to re-empower them, to understand self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem. And everything I seem to do doesn't, or actually comes out in 12. So, we have the 12 spiritual laws, which is my book, which you just talked about. And I am in the process of running 12 manifestation protocols. And everything seems to be the number 12. Don't ask me why, but that's the way it's supposed to be. And we'll talk more about that. But thank you for letting me talk about that.
You bet. And to learn more, we're going to put our contact information in the comments so that you can go in and find the website and email and all that stuff. And we are super excited because we're actually up in our game on our YouTube pages. Michael and I have a lot of videos that we've been doing. We've been doing these for over a year now. So if you want to go back and see some, they're also on YouTube. How cool is that, right?
Really cool. And the other thing we've added on YouTube, I have over 250, some odd 255 10-minute messages. And that's also going on YouTube now, where you can listen to an 8 to 10-minute message while you're driving the car or you just want to relax. And there are several beautiful photographs that TU has taken, and you'll hear me talking. So when I talk about a video, it's really audible. But on the other hand, it's good for when you're busy or tired or you just don't want to look at something. Eventually, I will be doing live videos. That'll be a little separate from this. But you'll see her award-winning pictures that she takes, and they are award-winning. She's got a lot of awards. So I'm so happy to share them. And just to let you know, if you like them, you'll be able to contact her and purchase them.
Oh, wow. Okay. Now we sound like a commercial.
I know, but the commercial's now over.
Okay. End of commercial. We're getting ready to go ahead and go into your direction in life, part 4.
All right.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to you, Michael.
Thank you. I wanted to address all of you because you reach a certain age. And when I say your direction in life is part 4, and that would be from like 35 or 40 up to the age of 60, maybe 65. And this is the point in your life that you have learned so much. And you learn so much because, when we go to school or college, it's all theory, 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 theory. And a lot of the professors at school that teach things, it's all theory. They don't have practical application. However, you have practical application because you went through what I call the wars, the trials and tribulations. And I was invited to teach at college here in Seattle called City University. It's a 5-year school. They teach bachelor's and master's. And I was one of the professors there. And I taught business communications, marketing, and economics. And you would think, well, Michael is a spiritual soul. But based on all my experiences and all the businesses and all the consulting I've done through my years, I was able to give my students the real life understanding of everything. not out of a textbook, which I had to teach from a textbook, but not all about theory. And I want to bring this out to you, not to produce the accolades of Dr. Michael Gross, but there was a time under the Kennedy, President Kennedy, some of you weren't even born yet, and President Kennedy put together a cabinet. And when he put together the cabinet, they called them the whiz kids. That was the term. And the whiz kids actually were those in their 40s who were professors at different colleges, and they came up with all these wonderful theories. And what happened later on is, well, of course, big business corporations go, well, we have to have prestigious people with masters and doctorates as our president because they must know a lot. So what happened is we went through a phase in this country where perhaps the president, maybe he worked his way up from janitor all the way to president, or maybe he just had 2-year college degree, or maybe he went to the school of hard knocks, but he knew the business of the corporation inside or out because he went through every phase of it. But they decided, nope, we have to have one of these college professors. What happens was they were all enamored by it, and the businesses slowly began to suffer. The reason was businesses, not all of them, most of them suffered was because they were teaching out of theory and textbooks. While the president, he went through all the chairs, so to speak. He knew everything about the corporation, and he understood how the corporation worked. So they eventually reinstalled the old president that they demoted back to president. And the reason I'm pointing that out to you now is we go through life, we have new corporations and new presidents and so on. Many of them, if you looked at, were founders of business, like Bill Gates, Elon Musk. And there are other companies that don't come to mind that created new businesses, new concepts, but they were involved in every aspect of it, which is very, very important today. So the reason I talk about this is because between the ages of 40 and 60, or 65, if you will, you have all this knowledge. You went to the school of hard knocks, you know what works and doesn't work. It's no longer theory to you, it's practical application. And that's so important. I remember my wife, before she passed away, she worked for Boeing, and she said, thought Boeing was the greatest thing since sliced bread. And she would brag about Boeing, couldn't wait to get to work, and so on and so forth, which was a wonderful attitude. But I used to go, uh, Boeing is great, but you make it great. No, it's a great company. Until they had an early out, and she kind of got shafted a little bit.
Yep.
But we don't want to go into that. The point is that if we understand it, Boeing was bragging about this new system, and the system is that's called just in time. And they would order products, and they would be working with them. They didn't have to stockpile products, and they would have an assembly line to put things together. And they said, oh, we copied this from the Japanese, which was actually done after the war. And they thought this was great. And I think MacArthur was spirited up after World War II. Well, the real truth is, and I want to point this out, is the assembly line and what we call just in time was Henry Ford. And the way they worked on, he was one of the first to do assembly line on cars to make cars cheaper. And he would sell you any color you wanted in your car as long as it was black. That was his thing. But in the assembly line, they would, fix a part, give it to the next guy. The next guy would work on it, go, oh, Michael, you forgot to tighten the spark plug. So he would give me back the engine, and I'd tighten the spark plug, and then it moved on to the next guy. And it was a formulation of just in time, fixing things just in time, and moving on. But they said, oh, the Japanese MacArthur developed something new. No, it goes all the way back to Henry Ford. Really interesting. So what I'm trying to tell everybody is that you have a wealth of knowledge. And this wealth of knowledge is what makes you successful. It makes you successful not only if you work for a large corporation of all the knowledge you have, but makes you very successful in family life because you learn what works and doesn't work, how to get along with your spouse and your children, and you learn so much more, the shortcuts of life instead of the long way. And you didn't have Google to look up how you do this, how you do that. You would either call somebody up and say, hey, Michael, how do you do this? Or John, how do you do this? And they might come over and help you, or they would tell you how to do it on the phone, which was a wonderful thing, but accomplished two things. One, you formed a friendship. Number two, the secret is that in those days, we went to people to mentor us. They were more knowledgeable and they agreed to mentor us and help us succeed. And that was really, really interesting. And to point or illustrate something, during the time of Boeing, when they offered, quote, the golden parachute, which means people could retire early, their business suffered because they didn't realize all the people went, hey, I've had it. I worked too hard. I'm abused. I'm gone. So what happens is they had people that didn't know what they were doing. And now we see what happened when McDonnell Douglas took them over and how their planes were banned for a while. It took them over a year to get them to fly again, correct the problems, and so on. So I'm telling you all this because not to shortchange yourself. Even though you're getting up in years and perhaps you're leaving the summer of your years and going into the early fall of your years, you are a plethora of knowledge. This knowledge is phenomenal and you have so much to share. Problem is that you're dealing with a younger generation. And of course, they want to Google everything. And what's beginning to happen as I'm talking to educators, a lot of them are saying they don't want to go to college because one, there's debt. Number two, all the answers they need, they can Google it. And that's kind of interesting. Not that I don't Google things, I do, but I appreciate a one-on-one. And being with friends that are business people, they have the young people coming out of college, they want a job. Hey, uncle, I want a job. Okay. I don't want to start as vice president. Well, what do you know about the business? I don't have to know anything. I can Google it. Well, you have to understand people, you have to understand mechanics, you have to learn everything. And so my friends will say, it's really great, it's wonderful, I'm glad you graduated. You don't know anything about my business, Google can't help you. So if you want, you're going to start at the bottom. And the bottom means to them they want to start a salary at 75 to 100,000 a year, which really doesn't work. But that's what's happening. And where we are in our lives as we're going a little bit older, it's for us to share the knowledge. And sharing the knowledge to our children and family and so on and so forth. It's not that we're being arrogant or haughty. It's that we just have gosh darn good knowledge. Knowledge that has proven itself. Why? Because you found out what worked and didn't work. And through that knowledge, you gain experience. Through that experience, you have a lot to share. And that's most important because as you look at the fall of your lives, it's everything you have accomplished is coming to an apex or a peak. It means that you have created success. And we look around and what is the definition of success? For most people, it's materiality, the big cars they drive and so on and so forth. And I will tell you that no, success is how you lived your life, what joy you've created, what you've learned, and how you've triumphed over the pain and trials and tribulations like this woman next to me has gone through. That means success in life because you've come out of the gutter, so to speak, with insecurity and come into the light of joy and happiness. And I want everybody that's watching this to understand that. Don't measure success by materiality. You know, Steve Jobs, when he was dying and he knew he was going to die, he said, money is nothing. It's how you live your life and what joys you have in your life. And he was known to be a tough guy to work for and very demanding. And he realized all those things. And I read where when he birthed out of his body, he had $7 billion or something like that. And his wife got all these billions. Well, that money can't replace him. But he did make his mark in this world. And part of that is how are you making your mark in your life, in your world? I'm talking about your family, friends, and relatives. And as you're in this late autumn, or rather early autumn of your life, it's what you share with people. And most importantly, most people don't want to be told what to do. You know, in my life, when I was in sales and marketing and the businesses I had, I would talk to various people. And my motto is don't tell me what I'm doing right, because I know what I'm doing right. Tell me what I'm doing wrong, because I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
I want to learn.
Yeah.
I want to learn, right?
Right.
If I'm doing something wrong, teach me. Don't let me just keep muddling along.
Exactly. So what's happened in our life is we're learning, 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 learning. And I want to motivate all of you to keep on learning, keep on growing. Yes, I know a ton of things. I know a lot about businesses. Do I know everything? Nope. But I know a lot and I keep learning, learning, learning. And that's so important. It's not being a know it all, it's about sharing information. And nobody wants to be told what to do. Merely say, you know, if you'd like me to share some information or tell you, ask me. And don't expect them to ask you. And then walk away or change the subject. When they're ready, if they're ready, they will contact you.
Can
You
I
know,
add something?
sure.
One of the things that came to mind when Michael was just speaking was, you know, when we continue, it doesn't matter how old we are, the more we learn, to keep on learning, that's actually keeping our brain stimulated. That's keeping us younger in the sense that what is it? We're firing
Neurons and synapses.
yeah. So it doesn't matter what you're learning as long as you're learning and moving forward, because it's easy to get mindless when you're sitting in front of the TV set with the remote control all the time. You're not thinking, it's just junk being fed into your head. But when you get out and you move around and you listen, okay, I'm just going to say this, listen to the thoughts of your soul. That's why I go out and shoot pictures. And you don't always see me on social media. My bad. You can't be everywhere at one time. And if I have a nice sunny day, I'm going to grab a camera and go, because I know that when I'm out, wherever it is I go, there's things that I would have missed had I been sitting at home in front of the TV. And, reruns this time of year aren't all that exciting anyway, right?
Right.
I just wanted to add that. Keep on learning.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And that's so important is to keep on learning. You know, I don't profess to be a genius when it comes to computers and software. It's really not my forte. Could I learn it? Yes, with the proper instructions and those that I work with, I could learn it. And I could become very good at it if I so desire. Notice my words. But it's more important for me to spend the time and motivating all of you to realize that you're creating your life. And while we're on this subject, I'm glad you asked me why we're creating our life. It's most important for all of you to understand thoughts are things.
What you think you create, right?
Yeah.
He has a quote. I'm sorry, I'm getting in there. I'm getting a little giddy, but Michael has a quote. What you think you create, what you create, you experience.
Absolutely right. Realizing that you are manifesting your life 24/7, you got to be careful of what you think about. And more importantly, there are two types of learners. One are audible, and the other is kinesthetic. I'm a hands-on, and I have to experience that kind of thing. Sometimes, I remember I was just talking to Tiu, and I loved a subject which was history and science. I had no problems in college, and even when I was at school, I never had to study for an exam. I retained it. I was a sponge. Now we came to physics and chemistry and other types of math. I had to really work hard because I guess I was bored or disinterested in it or whatever it was. But then nevertheless, I made it through. Now, an engineer in the latter part of your years, the late autumn or early autumn of your years, it's time for you to take all that wonderful information and go online, type it up, record it, share those things. So in the day that you're birthed out of your body, your children and children's children, children can understand exactly where you come from and what you are. We are going to go through a huge, huge revolution of change. And I use the word revolution with artificial intelligence and also virtual reality. It's going to be honest, and it's already here, but it's going to be more in depth in 5 years or less. It's going to really blow your mind away what's going to be happening. And in a way, it's going to be happening because we're going to have to keep abreast of it. Some of us will have more leisure time, some of us won't. But because of all these changes, the number one thing that no one can ever deprive you of is your own life experiences and your spirituality. Now, when I talk about spirituality, please remember I'm not talking about religiosity, but spirituality, which is somewhat similar, but some ways 180 degrees different. The most important thing is all of us are here to learn about self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem. And not only that, but to share our knowledge and to do our missions and goals on what I call on a spiritual basis. So over the next 3.5 to 5 years, there's going to be a lot of changes. And in those changes, some of them are going to be challenging, some of them will be easy. But in a way, I've always felt to be forewarned is forearmed. So there's a lot of things I know that's going to be going on, a lot of things that I know are going to be going on. But for me, it's not frightening, it's not scary. Okay, I got this new information. Now I know how to apply it, how to work with it, so I can improve my life and share this knowledge with you to improve your life as well as my family's life. How are we doing on time?
Well, we have about 5 minutes left,
All
so
right.
we should start wrapping it up.
I think we should start wrapping it up. I want all of you to know and how much I appreciate you listening to this. But as we go deeper and deeper, you're going to learn more and more things, and you're going to find out more and more, let's say, things that are going to occur in the future so that you can be forewarned and forearmed and be prepared for it. As of lately, I have a lot of clients that have been coming in from Asia. And as I look at them and from a few from South America and other parts of the country, I will tell you, this whole world is a mess. So the most important thing, I want to share one thing. Each morning, just say I am of this planet, but not in the negative emotion of this planet. And that is so important for you because we're all of the planet, but we don't have to be in the negative emotion. Where's that fear, doubt, insecurity, sickness, illness? All this stuff's coming down. And yet, how come people survive unscathed? And I will address that. How's this for a cliffhanger? Next time we get together.
Mark that on the calendar.
Yes.
Every Sunday, right? Every Sunday at 7:00 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, right?
Right.
I love the fact that he's leaving us wondering what's coming down the pipeline next. I have nothing but accolades for you,
Thank you.
and I'm not going to keep saying it because I don't want him with a head this big.
I doubt that'll ever happen because, I'm just a conduit for the true source. That's all I am.
I know that's not
Thank
going to
you.
happen. That's
No.
not going to happen.
No.
But on that note, shall we just go into what happens Tuesday night?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Tuesday night, Michael does a call in. It's a wonderful time. Every Tuesday night, you can come and ask him your burning questions about spirituality, the universe, the meteorite that blows by planet Earth, whatever you have that's a burning question. You can actually dial in and ask him because he offers his time. And I think it's incredibly generous that he offers an hour or, whatever to answer the questions and also give us a recorded message at the end of the call, which will be coming up on his YouTube channel soon. I'm so excited. Okay. So, do you want to add anything to that or
No.
shall we give the numbers?
You're good. Thank you so much. You're clear.
I'm so excited. Okay. Tuesday, the call-in number at 6:30 is 202-926-1059 and the access code
125446 pound.
I love when he does that. Okay, one more time. That number is 202-926-1059 and
The access code is 125446 pound.
I think he practices in front of the
Yes,
mirror.
I do all the time.
Well, it resonates in my head because when I dial in, I'm like, okay, what was that access code? And it comes. And by the time I type it in, it's a free conference call thing. When I type it in, my head's going, Okay, so the recordings, which he always gives at the end of the call-in on Tuesday night, is at 434-300-4170, access code
125446 pound.
And one more time on the number. And I'll make sure that everything is in the comments too. It's 434 300 4170.
And the access code is 125 446 pound.
I knew you was going to do that. Okay. Now, why don't you tell them a little bit about what happens the second Saturday of every month?
This is so important and dear to me, but it's more important and dear to you as well. And what we do on the second Saturday of every month at 9:55 Pacific Standard, or I should say Pacific Daylight Savings Time, to 11:01 Pacific Daylight Savings Time, we do a mass consciousness healing. And I start off talking for maybe 2 to 4 minutes, mostly less than that. And then we go into deep meditation. And we become a conduit for the true source of unconditional love to touch this planet, the animal, mineral, vegetable kingdom, all humans, everyone. It's the most incredible feeling you will have. And I will tell you, not only does the true source, or some people say God the true source, but the angels, the guides, even Christ has showed up, and more, even more, the archangels, Elohim's another order of angels, your guides and angels, and also Lord Krishna, who is the spiritual entity of love, unconditional love. He's almost like a deity. So there's so many that show up, and it touches your heart and soul. Not only that, you become a conduit. So what you are doing is right action and correct exchange, bringing it forward. Because every time you receive this unconditional love, word is unconditional. I care what you've done in the past. It's unconditional. It helps to heal your body, raise your vibrations, because you are now a conduit to bring through this unconditional love. Please spread the word. Don't think it's immaterial. Don't play it down. It is vitally important, especially at this time. So thank you for letting me get on my soapbox, but I wanted to share you with that. And the telephone number is?
And the telephone number is 202 926 1059.
And the access code is 125 446 pound. And that's the same number as the call in on Tuesday evening. So I wanted to remind all of you this. So thank you for your patience. Thank you for being here. Thank you for making a difference. Thank you for listening to the message, because this message comes through in two ways. Verbally, of course, but also it's designed by the true source to empower you and touch your soul. So thank you for being here.
There's one thing I have to add. This wonderful man over here taught me that nothing negative can live in love, in the energy of love. And it's so very, very true, because when you walk in a room, and think about it, if you walk in a room and you're really super happy and everybody in the room is kind of bummed out, you start feeling just like them, right? But when you walk into a room where it's full of love and you're feeling kind of yucky, you start absorbing that energy of love. And that's what we need to send to our planet, more so now than ever before. So remember, mind your words, mind your thoughts, and always give of love, because it's a whole lot more powerful than anything else in the world.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you
welcome.
for sharing that important message.
You're welcome.
So I'd like to thank all of you. I want to show you my book, and she's showing you her book.
No, I'm showing them your book.
Duh, you're right. I'm floating because
It's okay.
I wanted you to all understand that when I do this, I channel the information. I don't rehearse anything. I never know what's going to be said. All I know, it has an impact. But talking about an impact, healing the holes in your soul, it has a great impact. on your
Start
life.
with this one, the spiritual primer, because the guy that wrote this one also wrote the foreword in that one. And he's changed my life and so many other lives. So if you want to learn more, come back next Sunday, because we have another message for you at 7 o'clock. See how giddy I'm getting? Oh my
Yes,
God.
it's wonderful.
I can't believe it.
Thank you, everyone. You have a great week. And if you want, don't forget to go to our YouTube, listen to the messages, replays, and remember our motto: you are unlimited. Take care,
Namaste.
everyone. Namaste.
Say goodbye, Michael. Goodbye.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Sayonara.